to the channel. Today I'm bringing you my updated Dragma Invoked Red Eyes Dark Dragoon deck. So I'm just going to dive right into it because this is probably going to be one of the best meta contender decks out there now. For me, I think it's still lacking just a little something. I think Outrage and Adamant Spears and Dragon Links are just so much more powerful, but the amount of disruption this deck can cause, the amount of boards it can actually break is really good. So I think it's just depending on your matchup and how lucky you can get, but I really do like this deck. So I'll dive right into it. So we've got free Alistair. He is basically your main normal summon of the deck. I don't need to explain what Alistair does because everybody knows. Ecclesia, she is basically your Dogmatica Stratos of the deck. She's extremely good, and I really think these two at least have to be free odds. I play 2 Fleur-de-Lis and 1 Dogmatica Maximus. I only play the 1 Maximus because I don't see the point in maxing out on it, no pun intended. And I think the more that this sees play, the more interruptions and more times people are going to combat it with the extra deck, having Nova and Mechaba and stuff like that in the extra deck. Fleur-de-Lis, I really like having him at 2 because he's good to open, and it means when you have Ecclesia and him in hand, that you don't need to search out the Fleur-de-Lis, you can just search out the punishment. So I really do think he has to be played at 2. Then what you're going to see in every single deck, 1 Dark Magician and 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Hand trap. The really good thing about this deck is you can play as many hand traps as your heart desires. So I play 3 Ash, extremely generic, and same with Ghost Ogre versus all rogue decks. Gamma, after the remote duels, I think everyone actually really seen the power that Gamma has, but obviously the most powerful card in the deck is definitely Cyframe Driver. And see, when you draw Driver in hand and a Gamma, that's game. And the 3 Impermanence, because it's extremely good trap card, and also I think it's better than Effect Veiler, because it can be used on your turn, so you can negate the effects of cards on your turn when your opponent starts up. So that is the hand trap lineup. I think the hand trap lineup is absolutely perfect. I couldn't really fault the hand trap lineup. Fusion spells, 1 Red Eyes Fusion and 2 Invocation. Invocation is perfect at 2. You don't need to play 3. You don't play Pot of Desires in this deck because you search out, like, the entire deck is searchable. So I don't see the point in playing Desires. And the 1 Red Eyes Fusion, which are going to dump off 30 Anaconda. Now, playing 3 Alistair wasn't enough, so you end up playing 7 copies of Alistair. And 3 Ecclesia isn't enough, so you play 6 copies of her. And also, Nadir Servant is probably one of the best cards in the deck because it can end you with getting enough resources to get the Window Lock. So these are absolute staples. The only card in this deck that I think could potentially see the ban list is Meltdown, just because of its protection from the fusion summons that get negated. In this deck we play 3 droplets. We play so many hand traps. If you double up on them, then you can just discard them and then you can play away and absolutely destroy boards. So 3 droplets. I play 2 Call by the Grave because you want to resolve the Meltdown, your Nadir Servant, things like that. And if you don't open the Gamma, then you've got 2 other ways of destructing them. And the trap cards, we play 1 Punishment and 1 Skirmish. I think this is just the ratio that everyone plays. You can play 2 Punishment if you can find the space, but I think because it is searchable, it isn't a main necessity in the deck, but it is really nice to have, then you can just play 2 Punishment, but I think it's perfect at 1. And Skirmish is what you search off the app clone when you dump it off Nadir Servant. Extra deck. We play 1 Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you don't need to. There's no need for you to play 2 in this deck, especially because Red Eyes Dark Dragoon isn't really the main win button in the deck. He's just a free monster that's super powerful, so definitely have to only play with 1. Link 1s, we play Gardener Almirage, just because it makes Alistair a free Macabre Pugger Trio. Link 2s is Alistair the Invoker of Madness and Verity Anaconda, just so you can get Dragoon, and he helps you with OTKs. The 1 Nova, just because it's an out to playing in the mirror match, and it's always safer to have an out to the mirror match. If you don't want to play Nova, if you know for a fact there's no Dragma or anything like that in your locals, then feel free to make this a construct, because we don't actually play construct. I felt the deck was extremely, the extra deck was extremely tight, and I couldn't fit in the construct, so feel free to just swap a construct in for this. For the Shadows, we play 1 Apkalone and 1 Winder, just so you can search out the Skirmish, and then you've got the Winder lock, so I think that's just perfect. I really wish that I could have put in the construct. There is 1 card in this that it was the debate between the 2 of them, but I'll get into them and I'll explain that in a second. So we play 2 Mechaba, 1 Agoides and 1 Pugger Trio. So Agoides was the one that I was effing about, just because you do get a pop with this, and also you can make it fucking huge by banishing a fusion monster. So that's my main reason for doing that. I did think about the construct, but in terms of using Skirmish as fusion ability, you're 9 times out of 10 going to want to go into Winder, and that's my main reason behind it. And when you're going second, he could just win your games. That's the main reason, and that's the theory behind why I play Agoides over Construct. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comment section below and try and convince me. As you can probably tell, I don't need much convincing, so 1 extremely good reason will probably tempt me to switch back. 2 Intis and 1 Bastard or Titaniclide. You dump him, search out any of your Dogmatica stuff, so he's extremely good, and Intis is just pop, and back row decks absolutely despise her. So that is the deck profile, everyone. Feel free to let me know what you think of the deck, any changes, how you're playing the deck, and if you've got something spicy that would interest me, feel free to let me know and I'll happily reply to you. Please remember to subscribe and give the channel a like, because when you subscribe and like to the channel, it makes me want to do a lot more videos. So cheers everyone, peace.